And we became friends after a while, you know, and they could see that I was really, really interested in what had happened to them, because I could tell it had had a deep impact on them. They hadn't talked about to anybody, because it had, again, affected their life, their beliefs, a number of things. And I asked them to take me to that place among the forest where the thing had landed, one time. And I said, looking around, if it took off in that direction, it would have hit the trees. And they said, well, it kind of hit the trees. And it went through the trees. Well, okay, so now this isn't some sort of rocket or some sort of helicopter. A helicopter will crash if it hits a tree. I said, why didn't you tell that to the investigator who came here? They said, well, we could tell he would never believe it because he was looking for hardware. He was looking for some sort of super rocket. He was essentially had an engineering mind. We couldn't tell him that it went through the trees. But you asked a question, so we told you. So I think that's what we need to learn.
Hello there.
Let's go back and hear me.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Check you out for now.
Take a trip inside yourself. Get a ticket and take a ride. Take a trip inside yourself. Get a trip and take a ride. Take a trip inside
Here in the
yourself.
city, don't stop.
Advice for a trip to take. Take a trip inside yourself.
Concrete jungle. What was it, Saturday I heard the freeway burned. This freeway. Not far from here at all. They're predicting a bunch of traffic. Look at it running there.
Take a trip inside yourself. Take a trip inside yourself.
They're saying maybe it'll do this.
Take a trip
What's up, man?
Greetings, greetings. Good evening, man. Nice intro there.
I know. Is it cool?
Yeah, man. I need something like that for my channel.
So, yeah, it's good seeing you, man.
You
Been a
too,
while.
man. How you doing?
I'm okay, man. I'm been busy. Been
I
learning how to
see.
play guitar and writing a book.
Wow. All right. Is that your first one or first book?
Yeah. I got 20,000 words into it so far. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. And yeah, that's something exciting coming down the tunnel here.
Heck yeah, man. How
Is
about
there
you, man? What's been going on with you? I know what's been going on with you.
yeah,
You've been
same
filming
old
and
same.
stuff.
Yeah,
You've
same
been
old, same
filming.
old. Still in this matrix, and but enjoying the ride, man. Yeah, things have been busy in the skies, and here busy in the shop as well. I'm here at the shop. We're still open. My brother's here, so he's able to cover me, and so I could talk for a bit. And yeah, man, I'm open to whatever you want to get into tonight.
Well, I've noticed you've been filming a lot of stuff in the sky lately.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a
And
bit.
which is actually, usually I'm out in the forest, in the woods somewhere where I think Bigfoots might be, right? But yeah, no, it's actually nothing new to me. Um, I mean, this all started going way back. I think as a kid, I've always been fascinated with the UFO and alien topic, and
Sure, yeah.
always been a believer, and I think some of my first sightings started when I was pretty young too, that I could remember. But actually, living up north, getting into the Sasquatch and
Yeah.
things like that. The whole orb thing started coming about in my life, and it was weird because at first it was at these festivals that I would go to up there. There's a big reggae festival, and then there's like a world music festival as well. That's really cool. Brings out a lot of different types of people and stuff, and and you're outside, you're in nature at these festivals, and so you're able to see the skies a lot. And at these festivals, we're out there partying, having a good time, and everything. And we'd see these objects, and a lot of them looked like at the time we weren't in. I wasn't hardcore into this stuff, but I was very aware. And we were like, they looked like stars, but they weren't. They were moving, and they weren't moving like your normal satellites. We were aware of satellites and stuff like that, and some of these things were just like all over the place, and it was like, whoa, you guys seen that? And yeah, my brother and I picked up on stuff like that. And so, even before that, we'd always keep an eye out, because in Southern California, it's always been known as a spot for UFO aliens and weird stuff. And so, we've always been fascinated. And growing up in Los Angeles, LA, Hollywood to be exact, we were always exposed to a lot of the stuff that was out on TV and in the movies and stuff like that as well, which I believe is a form of programming, of hardcore programming. I'm starting to see.
So?
Yeah.
You think so?
And
I agree
and
with
so
you,
yeah,
man.
so coming forward to what's happening now, I'm questioning a lot of the stuff that we've grown up with, and that we've heard, that I've heard growing up about UFOs and ETs and stuff like that. But yeah, no, going back to Northern California, getting into the Bigfoot stuff. I was really learning and absorbing a lot of the stuff, and I don't know if we've talked about the area I've been. It's where the Patterson,
Sure,
Gilliland,
yeah. My
Humboldt
brother's seen and sister-in-law saw one there.
Oh wow, okay,
Not right now. He lives in Orville.
okay, yeah, I'm
Watched the
up there too
fire in
now.
Paris.
Yeah, interesting. And so yeah, getting into that whole world, yeah, you kind of I hit a point where I started hearing about these orbs and stuff like that being in and around Sasquatches or in their areas and stuff like that. And at the time, I was starting to have already activity when I was claiming Bigfoot activity on the property there. We're in a remote area, and that was known, but the county that we're in, actually the northern part of the county, seems to get a lot more of the activity. as to the south, and I question myself, why could it be that, the people maybe are reporting it more? There's more people up north. Um, I'm not sure, but anyway, I started having things happen at the property that I was questioning. I was vetting out what your typical wildlife that we have there. We have bear, cougar, all that stuff, and yeah, just certain things were happening that were really strange, and things would happen, and it was almost like a confirmation for me, because I would like question things. I was asking about things to myself, and things that I was learning about that people were experiencing with Sasquatch, and yeah, things were happening, and I was just like checking them off the list, and then eventually I started hearing about the orbs, and sure enough, the orbs started popping up on the property, man, and it was just really strange. They would pop up in areas that
Synchronicity. You think it's synchronicity? You think?
well, you know how we think, man, and how we feel, dude. So I feel like, yeah, it's something to do with, that consciousness. We're diving straight in now. I was like, well, maybe we'd be talking about these things further down in the show. I don't know, but I
Hey
flow
man,
with you, bro.
I'm intense, man. I'm deep in this deep. So I mean,
Yeah, I know that, man. So it's cool that we get right into it, man. That makes it exciting already. So we'll see where we end up. And so, yeah, you think about things like that. You're questioning all these types of things that could be possible. You mentioned synchronicity, and then I mentioned obviously consciousness. There has to be some sort of consciousness involved to be able to interact and experience, right? So you could add that.
What is this consciousness? What is this thing?
Yeah,
what is this super mind? What is this? Or is it like some kind of higher intelligence type of super hive that we're dealing with? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In other words, these archonic forces, if you will, these spirits, you can call them archons, it doesn't matter. It's not necessarily a derogative term. And they're paying attention to us. It seems to me like we have familiar spirits, and we have generational spirits, and we have regional spirits paying attention to us. And they are paying attention to guys like you and I, because we're paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem like the case?
Well, yeah, it's very possible. I think many things are possible on this.
That's the thing. It's so Fortean, isn't it? It's the anomalous Fortean wild show, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of Fortean, man, we'll get mark this little spot, because I want to jump back to it. Because I was tripping on your name, and I recently this weekend actually got a little bit of information, but you maybe will be able to relay more. Did you get that from a particular person? It was
his first name starts with Charles.
Right. Yeah, I think I heard about his story this weekend, man, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's where he got that from.
Yeah, Charles,
and
man.
it was very interesting, but I wasn't able to hold that somewhere in my brain. I had heard about him, but I was like, oh wow, okay, that's where he maybe got that.
Like 100 plus years ago, he was telling us about this. He was documenting all these strange anomalous events that the scientific community and the mainstream media back then was ignoring. And he documented in his book called The Book of the Dead.
Okay.
Have you heard of that? It's worth reading. It's worth getting.
No, I've heard of the Book of the Dead, but it's not the
No, it sounds worse than it is. It's okay. When you read, you understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's making fun of the scientific community and how they totally just blown this off, this anomalous, mysterious part of our world.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason, well, I should shut up for now, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah. And,
I can go on and on about this.
Yeah. And obviously it was some deep stuff that I was getting into because he came up. So anyways, yeah. So back to, what could it be? These other, I guess you could call them realms and beings and stuff you were mentioning earlier. And yeah, I'm open to all that as far as like believing that there is things and places and yeah, definitely, man. And we're learning more. I'm learning more as we go. And I feel like we are as
do you think that they've been, the activity's been picking up since since you've been more aware of it and you're focusing your attention more on it, is there a pickup of activity as far as you filming stuff, I should say, sightings?
Yeah, and I think that goes for anything, even like when it's going back to Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you focus on what it is that you're looking at, or what you're
So
uh,
last spring, I was focusing heavily on Bigfoot, right? Very
mhm.
last thing that I filmed back in May. That was the last time I went seriously field researching. I mean, I went back a couple times to decide where I filmed a Bigfoot.
Mhm.
Okay, I filmed it. It's the last thing and got a video about it, all that stuff. So you'll see it, and even the eyes moving and everything. So, but then I was like, I was talking about the spring. I said, I'd really like to know more about the other side, or what's above us, right? So through synchronous and all that, and things, I stopped doing stuff for like 4 months, and then started up, and here you and I are talking. I mean, the things I've learned today and things that popped up and were said when I was like, shoot, there goes synchronicity, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, so
Yeah.
I've filmed a lot of orbs, but here's the difference between you and I. You're doing it during the day. Well, not always, but where you work, and that you have a relatively decent, nice location with clear skies, and it's warm enough to be standing out there, right?
Yeah.
So I've been focusing on where you've been focusing things probably above, say, several hundred feet. I'm
Okay.
focusing on that region up to the top of the canopy, the tree canopy, about 80 to 100 feet
Okay.
from where I'm at. And I'm filming tons of orbs and stuff like that, and some crazy anomalies where you are filming higher.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah. Sometimes it depends where the object is. And some of them are very, very high up. And that's why a lot of times you'll just notice just a little speck. It looks like a little dot. But that little dot is probably, I would imagine it's pretty big, whatever that object is. It's maybe that it's just far
It's
away,
hard to tell.
or it's just that the object maybe is a lot closer, but it's just shrunken in size, because these some of these objects, they could change size and shape. And so, yeah, I wonder, but I think it's a lot of the time it's just that they're off at a distance. Also, I think a lot of the time that's the case. So,
So then the
and
question is, how big are these things really? And I guess
yeah,
the last one you just filmed, by the way, if anybody hears this, before we joined together on air, about half an hour earlier, you posted a video of these things that you called the blorbs. And it's fascinating watching that, because the way, if you watch what's going on, the very first time I ever saw a UFO, it was one of those things, and I actually documented in my book,
mhm.
2017, which is within a week or two of the very first time I had an encounter with a Bigfoot. And it's the exact same thing that you're filming. It's just going in and out from black to white and gray and everything, and it's blobbing around. And if you pay attention to it, we'll look at your latest video, because I got it stopped wherever you start filming it, right?
Cool.
And you can see the energetic stuff going on around it, and things
Definitely.
almost like things adding
Yep.
themselves to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Very, very strange. And yeah, I think that name, it was another friendly YouTuber, Susie B, who mentioned the word blorbs. She said it with a B, but glorbs is another good one, man. Anything that sounds like
blorbs and clorbs and
yeah, man. You call them what you want, but they are strange, man. And yeah, like you said about the energy field around them, you could notice that, and probably like to people that aren't at least somewhat into this, it's just gonna look like yeah, like bad recording, but it's actually the object that's doing that, that's looking like that, distorted, and
it is doing it. They're the ones doing it.
yeah. So it's not, sometimes the camera will go in and out of focus or whatever, but a lot of the time, most of the time, it's the object that's causing whatever distortions, or sometimes they'll look kind of faint and not so visible. And some of it could be due to also the conditions of the skies as well, right? But visibility. But yeah, the objects are the ones doing a lot of the weird stuff that's happening there, and that's why you're not able. I feel you're not able to get a clear. I mean, clear picture. It's almost like the Sasquatch thing. You know, it's like there's just some sort of distortion there that won't let you get exactly what it is. But you know, I'm hoping and waiting. Actually, not waiting, but soon, dude, we'll get some new gear, and actually, I'm supposed to pick up some night vision binoculars from a friend of mine here real soon. So hopefully tomorrow night, I could probably even go tonight, but I got to go to Orange County and see how that goes, man. That's pretty cool. He's I guess gifting that to us, and got to put that to
infrared. What?
It's night vision, some sort of, I don't know, HD night vision or something, binoculars. I'm not sure. We got to find out and see what
Is it binocular or monoculars?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we'll find out, and we'll see how we could put that to use. But yeah, you know, we're always trying to get better footage, and then a lot of times it just is what it is, and I'm happy with it. You know, a lot of guys kick themselves for getting terrible footage, or would just, you know, either delete or dismiss, you know, stuff like that. I'm just, you know, for me, it's all data, it's all good, and it's all worthy.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, but here's the thing too. Okay, so well, first of all, what you're filming, is that the closest you can get to them with the camera you have right now?
Yeah, because it's just an iPhone. So
like if you would have had, so like I have a P900, right?
Yeah, if I had something else, then yeah, that zoom in closer, I'm sure we'd be able to get that closer footage. Yeah, you know, the things are out here. It's basically been an everyday thing, like pretty much. I mean, there's
So what are you doing? So what are you actually doing to make that happen, man?
Nothing. I'm just watching.
It's got to be intent. It's got to be they're paying attention to you, and they know what your intent is, and they're giving you a show for some reason. They chose you.
Yeah, I wonder.
Well,
what I question more is because I mean I'm in the middle of the big city, so there's a lot of people here. It makes me wonder who's all out here as well, you know, nearby here, and when I say who,
in other words, there's somebody doing some rituals or some ceremony.
You never know that there's that.
Well,
you know,
no, it is. We have a lot of occult records about this. It's like, you know,
and then
like Keel talks about the gypsies of all people, and but that's just an example of people who understand and deal with the elementals.
Right.
Spirits.
Yes.
Now, whether they're doing it for nefarious reasons or not, I think it doesn't really. I think it matters what type shows up, but maybe just the people that are just focusing on it cause it to happen as well, right?
Yeah.
And you're capturing it. But then again, you're focusing on it. So, are we in some ignorant way exercising or practicing sympathetic magic? You know what I'm saying?
Who knows? Yeah. Well, you know, we have done the C5 method before. There's these groups that I've gone to that I've been invited to since I've been out here that are like sky watching groups, these UFO groups, and very cool people. And some of these people are amazing, man. They could something about them as well that just brings them in. Also, you know, there's one YouTuber, a friend of mine who's also part of these groups. She goes by she's at Shelly's UFOs. Check her out. And anytime she comes around, it's just like they come with her. And she spots them all the time, I guess, at home and a lot of places she goes, and she posts a lot of videos too. She gets a lot of good footage and a lot of strange different anomalies and stuff like that, man. It's very bizarre. And she's just a very sweet person, you know, cheerful, high vibes, plays the what is it, the singing bowls and stuff like that, and it's just, yeah. So she does have, I noticed, a very very high energy, and so I wonder, could it be that, who knows? But yeah, she's got it going on, and there's several other people. There's also another channel, Luces en el Cielo Anaheim, and that's in Spanish, and it's a buddy of mine, Alejandro, who's also part of these groups as well. And same thing with him. I mean, at home and a lot of places he goes, and he goes sky watching as well and gets bizarre stuff. And he's actually made contact with ETs, he's claimed, and yeah, so he's pretty far in it, and he's a total family guy. Doesn't he's not online much except for when he shows his analysis of his videos and stuff like that. And solid dude.
So
man.
when he says he had contact with them, you're saying that he actually saw the entities?
Yeah, he recorded them. It's on his channel. And
which channel's that?
It's called Luces en el Cielo Anaheim. And it's probably going to be a long video. I'll send it. I'll get a hold of it. I've been wanting to share it on my community page, and I'll find it, and I'll send it to you so you can check that out.
Yeah, if you can remember that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because I didn't even get to see the full footage of that. I remember seeing it, but it was like some energy looking beings, and that was here in Mexico. It was northern Mexico, here in a spot called La Rumorosa, which is actually my pops is from that area, and it's a small mountain town, super tiny, but apparently it's a big UFO hotspot. They claim that it's the world's UFO hotspot, and
really,
yeah, and I had no idea until recent, and I've talked to my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, there's actually some guy in town that we grew up with that." He's kind of like a shaman now, and he supposedly is able to summon them and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And this was a while back. And when I met Alejandro, he happened to know this guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, this guy's well known in the scene. And he's been up to Mount Shasta and down, here and there. And I was like, whoa, okay. So he's from that town, too. And yeah, man, they have like, they've had a couple big conferences out there recently. And I want to go check it out because my uncle has a little piece of property there, small, and a small little cabin that he stays in every once in a while. And actually, as kids, we used to go up there. It was like kind of like a little summer retreat, and scorpions out there. And it's just like a lot of big boulders in that area, a lot of rocks and stuff. And I forget the elevation, but they do get snow up there during the winter, and during the summer, it's hot as heck.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling, though, wherever you go now, you're going to be able to film them. So I don't think it matters.
Oh, yeah.
For you personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're having this kind of luck, then there's a connection between you and them.
Oh, yeah. And I think, well, here, I feel like I just hit like what people call whatever, a hot spot or something, because I've had a lot of sightings in many places. I've recorded stuff in different counties in California. Okay. I've had sightings out in Nevada, but I haven't recorded anything in Nevada that I could remember. I have recorded some stuff out of Mexico, and up in Oregon. I've gotten stuff, but out here it's just since I've been here, and then working at the shop and everything. I've been spending a lot of my time here, and it's just been, like I said, it's almost like we've been questioning, is there a portal or something around here? And someone yesterday mentioned, it's like, I think it might have been Susie B again, that maybe there's a mothership around here and the little ones are out doing their thing or whatever. And yeah, who knows, man? But it's, like I said, well known, man. I mean, off to the coast here, you got, what is it, Catalina Island, which I actually went to recently as well and got some activity along the way. And I don't know if you've done any digging on Catalina, but it's also a well-known hotspot for UFOs. And then you also have the legends of giants being there. And I think, I think there's something to that. I went to the museum there, kind of asked about it. They made it just seem like, it was a bunch of crap. But yeah, it's a weird story there with the giants of Catalina and the UFO activity. It was true, man. It was for real. And I had a little sighting on the island while I was chilling at the beach. I wasn't able to capture it, but some of the similar activity that I was having here was happening over there. So
Right.
yeah, and so yeah, I think that the stuff I do question if it is that it's following you, or is it that you're able to just tap into those spots wherever they may be. And I do purposely like going to well-known areas, whether it be Sasquatch or paranormal. I mean, it's all paranormal for me, but whether it be like, oh, there's been Bigfoot activity or some sort of ghost stuff here. I mean, I don't go hard on the ghost, but it just if it's there, then yeah, let's check it out, But yeah, that's how that's been. And yeah, I just wonder, people question, and I question too, whether these things may be a positive or a negative thing. And thus far, but it's all been positive for me, man. There hasn't been any negative experiences anywhere with these strange lights or anything like that. There were times when I was up in the woods that, up living up north where, because I was telling you, it was happening almost every night as well. So these things would pop up, and at that time I did a lot of documenting as well. So those are like old videos on my channel that you could still check out. And basically it's pitch dark up there. There's no like street lights or anything. We're off grid, and so a lot of the videos are just pitch black, and you'll just see this light, and it kind of just they'll dance around, turn off, turn on, get dim, get bright, and all these weird movements and actions and stuff. It's really a trip. And so I would stare at these. I mean, I'd be staring, looking at these things, observing, and sometimes you'd get this kind of this eerie feeling because I'd be alone out there in the middle of nowhere. Wife would probably be at her mom's or, doing something, and of course the times when she was there too, she'd be sleeping and I'd be outside checking these things out. And then, having the 411 phenomenon thing in mind and, knowing about people being abducted by strange crafts and things like this, it does come to mind. And so sometimes it'd get a little scary. And I also noticed that I believe I was communicating because I would be thinking out loud. I'm thinking, asking these questions. And sorry, we got the famous ice cream man who likes to interrupt a lot of our videos and conversations here.
That's okay,
But,
man.
yeah, whether kind of lost my train of thought there, but I know missing people were like, oh yeah, abductions. Are these things, evil or are they bad? You hear about even some natives talking about that they could be bad spirits, that you shouldn't try to follow them or track them and stuff like that. So, I was aware of things like that, but, I just came at it with a positive mind and positive vibes. And yeah, just, I wouldn't meant no harm, what could I do to it, and so yeah, we'd have these like staring contests, and I would just check out and see what it would do, and then sometimes others would pop up and float by or just come into scene, and sometimes they would be different colors, multicolored, sometimes multi-changing colored ones, or some would be a solid red or a solid blue, or looking just like stars, but in areas in the property where I know there shouldn't be stars, like in the wooded areas. And there we had this big rock type thing that was basically it was kind of off the property. No one really owned it. I think maybe some brothers, it might have been part of their property, but no one went in this area. And from the house is maybe, as a crow flies, maybe half a mile, so you could totally see it there. It's like a big feature of the landscape there. And on that rock, this one of these orbs would always pop up there too. And so I also heard that these orbs could also possibly be geological things that could be under the ground that could be causing it, like maybe
Right.
minerals or stuff like that. And I considered it, but I don't think so, because I've seen these things fly up into the sky, and from the sky drop into the ground or into the forest, and so they're driven intelligently. I believe, there's some sort of intelligence behind them.
And what if they're sentient beings? What if
Very
they are?
possible. I
mean,
yeah,
they seem to behave more like that than a mechanical contraption. That at least anything that we understand today, with the, you know what I mean? It's just, some pretty wise researchers have been around the block say the same thing, that these things are not. How do I say this? There are those. It's almost like at times they manifest. Sometimes they pierce through the veil, or from one dimension to the other, and they do pop out mechanical, right? But for the most time, they seem to be, or maybe there's two different types. There's one type, the mechanical ones that once in a while show up. The people that what they call them extraterrestrials, and then there's interdimensional ones that we're dealing with, for the most part, and that is that these things are part of the creation here, but they are like plasmic in nature or something like that. You know what I mean? That they're not really like mechanical, like nuts and bolts type of thing. That they are part of the supermind. They're part of they're part of this super intelligence that people call God or the Creator. I mean, I'm not a religious person, and I've been really harsh on things like the Bible and was paying attention to me of late. But but saying that, there's something out there. There's some kind of force, and people talk about how we're part of that force. And so, what if those other things that we're dealing with are part of this force, this webbing, this like giant spider web that surrounds us, figuratively speaking, in which they communicate with each other. They're paying attention to us. They're communicating with our spirit, our soul, our intentions, our mind, whatever you want to call it. And we kind of help it manifest, come into reality.
Yeah.
Because of our intentions. But they don't come all the way through. Does it make any sense? Or that's what I'm noticing too. It's almost as like when I was watching this video with yours, and I've noticed as well from my filming of orbs, because I'm getting these like strange like phenomena where they're like, there'll be nothing, then all of a sudden there'll be something. And I'm filming like taking a still every 8 to 10 seconds, we'll say 9 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, bam, bam. There'll be nothing. Then there'll be something. And then there'll be this big mist, or there'll be a bunch of orbs. And the next 10 seconds later, there's nothing.
Yep.
It can't be dust. And so I'm watching this, and then I'm watching what you're filming. It's almost like there's things being drawn in. There's like let's say, you want to call them spirits, or we can call them bits of energy, bits of the creation, right? And they have a universal mind, for lack of a better placeholder for now. And then they just work together to help manifest stuff. Because it's like a lot of these things that we're filming, like you're filming in particular, when you're really paying attention, they're changed in shape and form. And it's almost like things are being added or taken away from, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it seems reasonable to me. I mean, it's a guess like everything else, but we have, based on what you're filming and others are filming, we have a better understanding, at least that there's something like that going on. We never might not understand what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because 99% of the universe is made out of plasma.
Yeah.
We're just now understanding it. And apparently, within this past decade, there have been groups of physicists and quantum physics physicists and those involved with plasma, or involved in plasma physics. They're saying there's such a thing. They're calling it sentient plasma.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And if they're saying that, or at least saying that much, I mean, come on. And they I don't know, I just feel like a lot of their stuff, you know how that whole science goes, man. It's they're not revealing fully what they know, I think, and then what they
And I think
do.
most of them don't actually know. And honestly, I think they're so blinded by their
Their
material,
ways. Yeah.
their worldview and the
Hmm.
belief system, their biases that they don't want to see
Yeah.
what we're seeing and what we're filming. You know what I mean? They don't want to accept that there's actually something up there for some reason. And
Yeah.
here's the other thing too is like when we talk about government and all that, and is that they have this fear of people losing any more faith than they already have in them, in the all-knowing, governments and the people at the very top, the oligarchs, right?
Yeah.
And so, what are they going to do when people find out that there's this interdimensional beings, these entities, these beings, and they've been around forever today, and this is what these sacred texts were talking about. And I think that's where like ancient alien stuff comes in. I think part of it is a deception. I don't think they're really there to tell people the truth, the whole truth. Because if you're filming stuff and I'm filming stuff, and they're not talking about stuff we're filming, they're just talking about stories. You know what I mean? There's something on here. And so, mainstream media, and they're part of the military industrial complex. They're part of the government, and their job is to propagandize us and indoctrinate us. So. And that's just a simple fact. That's how it is in all places, and we're not exempt from it. Just because we call ourselves Americans doesn't mean that we're any different than any other group of people out there. And so when you look at what's going on here, you're just like, there's something deeper, more profound going on here that they're trying to hide. And I think it's because this is something that they can't control. They don't understand fully.
Mm-hmm.
It's such anomalous in its nature, Fortean in its nature, that it's not predictable enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't just experiment this stuff right now in a controlled environment. When we think about all the different apparitions and visits from different groups of people, I've got some of this from Jacques Vallée, right? And I don't know if you paid much attention to him, but I would please do.
I'm aware. I'm very aware of
books
it. Yeah.
And stuff, and read his book. He's saying there is something different. There is something definitely going on there, and I mean, most people. Did you know this? I didn't even realize this. When was the very first crash, UFO crash in the United States that's documented?
It was before Roswell. Something before Roswell. I don't know.
Oh yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Of all places, White Sands, New Mexico, a month after because most people don't realize that our government, our military, they think that the first nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and in Japan. Actually, it's here. And the first one they dropped was 4 times more powerful and radioactive than the one that they had to tweak it, actually. The ones in Japan, because it was so powerful here, right? and a month later, Jacques Vallée swears by it. If he swears by it, I trust him. That 2 ranch hand, 2 boys working on the ranch, they get 80-something thousand acre ranch. One of these crashes on the ranch, and the military shows up. The army then, because it was that time was still, we didn't have an air force. We had just the army was in charge of that, right? The planes and all that kind of stuff, for whatever it's worth. So, anyways, there's the one that showed up. And they're the ones that there was 2 beings inside it, 2 beings inside this, and it was this shape of an egg-shaped vehicle, right? Kind of like what we're filming here, right? Not the traditional kind of
saucer,
right? Or the thing that looks like a hat, or looks like 2 plates come back together, whatever. Not to say that they can't look like that or they don't look like it. I'm just saying it was like an egg-shaped thing that just crashed into into their on their ranch, and there was two of these entities, these beings inside it, and the Army knew about it, and they finally let it out. Best what 2019 or 20? Did you know about that?
No.
Then
About that crash. Well, I've heard about several crashes and stuff, and no, and then I really question myself about the crashes. I mean, you know, I'm just like as of late, before, you know, growing up and everything, you hear about crashes and stuff like that, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, maybe that did really happen. And then Roswell for me, you know, it's out the door, but yeah, I feel like I just question if these.
but it wasn't like this vehicle that people think it is.
Yeah.
It's not like
different.
It's not like they had a bunch of stuff inside it and some kind of mechanical thing. It was like some kind of plasmic egg-shaped thing that hearted and showed up, and there was two beings inside it, and they were injured. And now listen, yeah, and the end of the day, could Jacques be deceived? Could we be deceived? Could Jack be part of some deception? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Because the way this thing works, man, I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean, I've had people hoax me. I had people lie to me. I've had a guy literally, I mean, and he's got a famous video of the gargoyle in his backyard, right? Rick Grimmack. I always bring him up because he's a perfect classic example of me. He drove 2.5 hours, sat in my place, flat out lied to me. We recorded and put it on my channel of him seeing this Bigfoot-looking gargoyle that he filmed, and he staged. I only found a couple years later he admitted, I got it in video as well. He staged the whole damn thing, right? But he has millions of views on his channel because that one video, and that video has been mirrored by thousands of people. I did it myself. I mirrored it. And this happened. He faked it in 2017, and since then, there's people have been taking it and because it's like he even faked out his pastor. I called him his pastor, and had him call him up and had him pray for him. You know what I mean? He said, I'm making all this, like we're being all worried and faking it, and he literally he gets a kick out of doing hoaxes, and he fooled millions of us with this thing, right?
Yeah.
So
of course.
And so we got that, and then we got all different motives. There's some of us who just want to know the truth. That's what we're after. We're not after about anything else. We just know the truth. And then there's a whole lot of other people who want and entities and beings or whatever who don't want us to know the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that's being too conspiratorial about that, because if they're almost like they want to. There's an awful lot of the trickster spirit involved in all this.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and that's another thing that I question is the trickster spirit all negative all the time, you know? But I don't think so. I think that spirit also has what would you say, a benevolent side to it, I guess?
Yeah, there's malevolent and benevolent. I mean, so far, I mean, most of the time, these things, our counters, they're more scary than anything, right? We get scared, right? Because of our ignorance, right? And it's really, and they're strange looking, right? And these Bigfoot's strange looking, and all these other things are in the forest, and all these forest spirits are strange looking, and what's in the sky, you know? Until you get used to it, you know, you don't know any better. And
right.
Where was I going with all that?
Well, whether they're good or bad, or
oh yeah, there you go. You can't judge them by their looks, right? You can't judge because of color, and for the most part, nothing's happening to us.
Right.
I mean, we might have a scary moment, but I wonder how much of those scary moments that even I had, and were just really a show. Maybe to show me that I had more power and authority than I realized. I didn't go. I had to run after a false god, or maybe it's because, or just to realize that these things are just around, or you know. But the thing is, how's it going, Davy Jones? And you know, there's more going on here than meets the eye. Well, there definitely is more going on than meets the eye, and they've deliberately also made things very confusing for us. They haven't like just flat out told us what's going on, right?
Right.
There's a reason for that part of the deception, and it's easy to say that they're doing it out of malevolence, but that doesn't mean that they are. We don't know that, right?
Right.
Because, like I said, you know, nothing's bad's happened to you, right? I mean,
not that I could say that's you know, that I could blame them for or anything like that. But no, I feel like it's been pretty positive actually. A lot of this stuff because it's I don't know. I feel like it's led me to think more, to question things more, to live a certain way. Um, and yeah, I just feel like it's been a good thing actually. And so yeah, no negative, nothing negative. Even the times in the woods, uh, nothing negative out of there, man. And if it wanted to be, it could have been. I mean, it could be at any time, you know, whatever it wants to do with me, because I'm here, and I'm watching it.
I don't think they're going to do diddly squat to us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? So, but this is, if you don't mind, we're watching this is what you filmed tonight. This is on Fort Dwarf's YouTube channel. So if you guys anybody is here and anybody's in the future, I strongly recommend you subscribe to what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, you pay attention to this blob, this energetic blob, looks like an orb or a dot.
Mm-hmm.
You really pay attention to it. I know you probably can't. Maybe you can't pay attention to see it, but I can see it clear because I got a big screen here.
I see it.
And the amount of energy and stuff coming out and out from it. And I just wonder if a lot of that flash is an emission of like this electromagnetic energy is what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
And they do something. They twist the quantum level of the universe. I'm not using the right terms right now, but yeah, I mean, when you watch it and look at it, you can see it coming in and out. Now, part of it also, I've noticed these things can't hold their shapes. So they're constantly like blobbing and moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming in and out of different hues of black to white or gray in between.
Yep.
And then there's times when they emit like a spark. Something happens that causes them to make a spark.
Yep.
Which now, you know, because one of the things in my book I'm writing about, there's two things. Not that I'm pushing the Bible, I don't recommend anybody getting it, to be honest with you. I think it's a book of black magic. Besides that, that's my opinion. The fact of the matter is, we can stop that now, is that Esau and Jacob, Esau is clearly a description of Bigfoot in my book. There's nothing else. And the very first chapter of Ezekiel is talking about this wheels within wheels and eyes within the wheels, and describes different entities as beings. He doesn't call them angels. We call them angels. But he says like they have like these foreheads that looks like, right, the changes, it morphs like shape-shifting things. And the way he describes it, it's almost like that's what we're filming. He's describing basically, because I can say that because I studied the book plus my experience, so I can confidently say that there's a correlation there. I think what they do is they hide these little esoteric truths of our reality and hid it in plain sight. And until you have enough knowledge, you'll never still just accept the base level understanding, right? You'll think it's just about, you know, something the ancient aliens said or whatever, or about a couple people, and you know what I mean. But once you know a little bit more, you're like, oh, that's just clearly what they're saying. They were dealing with Bigfoot friggin' thousands of years ago, and that's that he just hid it in the story. And Esau and Jacob, and this thing that's about Ezekiel 1 is clearly that first chapter. You pay attention to it, and I put my book here, and it's like that's what they're talking about. What we're filming. It describes orbs. You film these orbs with it. They're like rings within wings, right? They're like circle within a circle, and then rings, just like the rings of a tree, tree rings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's
Floating in the sky,
strange.
emitting this kind of energy, and then we see this thing's doing the same thing, emitting some kind of electromagnetic energy, and we can't see it because it's not the electromagnetic, the visual portion of the electromagnetic frequency scale. So it's from ultraviolet to infrared. Those are our parameters for our naked eyes, right? And the only reason we're filming it because of the digital cameras. Because it's further in the visual spectrum. And so they're catching the things where have always been hiding at the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Unless certain things were happening, you create a certain kind of environment. And then, as you know from the E5 stuff, then you get these like flashes, these lights pulsating that you can see with your naked eye, right? You can get little signals. But we're capturing things to the cameras and all that, things that go on all the time. It seems like there's more activity, but I don't believe there is. I think we just got the technology to capture it. That makes sense?
That's very possible, yeah. Yeah, because it seems like, I mean, I don't know, because you got to consider that we have the whole, the mainstream UFO phenomenon on fire right now. It seems like to me, you know, with the whistleblowers and just seems like the topic is a big one right now. You know, they had the congressional hearings, and even Mexico had some things going on that, you know, probably were not real, but you know, the topic is it's in people's mouths. People are talking about it, you know, and then so that's definitely getting the attention of citizens everywhere, I think. And so yeah, you have all that going on, but also at the same time you have you know, our activity that's happening, and yet yeah, you know, I feel like many people aren't really that interested, it seems like, or they just, I don't know. I wonder what they think. It just seems like, I mean, I'm talking for my channel, the feedback that I've been getting. I think a lot more people would have been interested, especially people that are not normally into the topic, you know. But and it goes for the same for the other channels that I've shared out earlier. For them, I noticed that
I think
it just seems like
part of the problem is the education and teaching folks that and emphasizing a little harder about this, the connection between orbs, Bigfoot or Sasquatch, other entities and beings, what we call UFOs or UAPs, and they're so strongly connected that you cannot understand one without understanding the other. You have to study it all in order to really understand. And what I think happens is people get simply lazy, I think. I mean, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you know how much time we put into it. You know how much time, I know how much time I've had to put into to get to this point. It wasn't going to be spoon-fed to me. And most people find out the truth about this stuff is not spoon-fed to you. You're going to, so, but what, you know, people also have the instinctive thing of being tribalistic about this thing, that you have to be, you know, or they find more interest in one aspect instead of the total package of what we're dealing with here. They're missing the fact that they're only focusing on one little bit of the big picture, this giant puzzle that we've been trying to put together for many, many generations, right?
Yep.
And so, anyways, I'm being redundant there. I think that's part of the problem. So,
yeah,
and it's until you can appreciate the amazing thing that's going on there in the sky that you're capturing. It's just like a blob. It just looks like a balloon. There's, you can say stuff like that. You know what I mean? We all started out that way, right? Hey, just like a balloon. Yeah. And at times they actually even mimic a balloon.
Oh yeah, and I believe they can mimic other stuff too.
Planes and helicopters and spaceship and I'm serious. I mean, I'm not trying to be like whack job here. I think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, it sounds crazy, but yeah, no, I do believe it, and yeah, they're able to appear, disappear. So yeah, I do believe it's a higher intelligence, with tech maybe, but I do believe, yeah, we
different type
you
of
know,
tech that we understand, a different type of tech,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah, and then going back to like the crashes and stuff, I do believe that, yeah. So if they have crashed, I do believe we have maybe some stuff that,
Or
you
maybe they're a
know.
decoy from them themselves. Maybe that's their decoy to throw us off the track and cause a whole bunch of people going down the wrong tunnel, the
Very,
wrong path. You know what I mean?
yeah, very
This
possible.
place works. I'm serious. I'm not making. I mean, why is it that each and every one of us has our own unique experience? Why is it not more universal, like interacting with a squirrel or with a bear or with a,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, or another human
Yeah.
being? Everything's different, but there's
Hmm.
similarities, but everyone's experience is just a bit different,
Yep.
you know. And so it almost like a very clever way of getting us to argue and bicker and fight about pretending we think we know what we're talking about. It's like politics. It's
Yep.
like religion.
Oh yeah.
You know, if this the same entities that pushed these things like politics and religion on us and banking and all this encouraged men to do it, rewarded them to do it some way or another.
Hmm.
The same ones that are now playing a game with us again, you know, maybe they get a kick out of it, or maybe it's a survival mechanism. I don't know. But whatever the purpose or reason is, regardless of that, it's the fact that your experience is a little different than mine. If you see a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, it's going to be a little different than what I see. If you see a UFO, it's going to be a little bit different than what somebody else sees. If you film, and it goes on and on and on, you know what I mean? There's no cookie. I can't say the damn word.
Yeah. Cookie cutter. Yeah.
Thank you. The phrase to this, you just, you know, and I know that science people they want that, you know, these people that represent like anthropology or physics or astronomy or whatever. They want everything to stay tidy in their the little box that they
Yeah.
become accustomed to and comfortable with. Part of it is out of self-preservation, but a big part of it is out of freaking ignorance. Here's the bigger part of it too, is that because there's so many other people that are ignorant about it and judgmental about it. So you say you're a physicist and you find out you know what we know and even more. You keep your mouth shut because you don't want to deal with the ridicule and the criticism or losing your tenure or and all these other crap.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons, right? So
Yeah.
why to keep your mouth shut? I mean, I don't keep my mouth shut because I feel like I got nothing to lose. I mean, right? And so, but a lot of people would feel completely different, especially,
Yeah.
you know, all the pressure around you, the social pressure, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so you've been filming this stuff. You're clearly seeing the shape shift and stuff going on, right? And not
Oh
just,
yeah.
I shouldn't be assuming that. Then what do you think? What's that angle? Do you get any ideas of what
The shape shifting. Well, it could be depending on the objects, because there's different types of objects. So we're talking, and even within the orbs, there's different types of orbs, I believe. So there's these silver, star looking metallic ones that I believe we've been talking about, and then there's like the spirit ones as well that are like
Are you
kind of.
farting or is that your phone?
That was my phone right now. I got a little text.
Oh, it sounds just like fart.
Yeah, I would have excused
Like-
myself.
Just want people to know. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, see, I just
Go
got
back.
another
I'm sorry.
text. Yeah, it's because on vibrate.
Sounds like,
And so yeah, depending on the object, I think so. It varies there, but I do believe that yeah, that these orb ones, yeah, can change, can do a lot of the strange stuff, and if they are energetic, could they be what's the word here? a biological being itself. So is that craft actually the ET itself? You know, we've questioned.
Could
I've
be,
questioned.
absolutely, it could be. What if
And
they
the re-
ride? What if there's other entities are riding into larger entities? So smaller entities riding in this biological ship that's another type of entity.
yeah.
Possibly say, hey, listen,
Oh
if
yeah. Yeah,
plasma
and then we've seen that these objects will sometimes cluster up together. So like one orb
all the
will,
time.
yeah, they'll hook up with another one, and then there's like two of them, and then there's been bunches of them, which looks like a bunch of balloons that have been tied, you know, together or something like that.
With incredibly long strings, by the way.
Yeah, so there's these. Yeah, it looks like what would be the tether on the balloon is well, we've been calling those, I guess, people call them jellyfishes, because it does resemble a jellyfish. So the tether on the balloon is what the tentacles would be on that, you know, or whatever. And it's very bizarre, you know. And so I do believe that it is these orbs also that could turn into the jellyfish, because I've seen the orbs and I've seen like when we're describing the morphing and changing, and then that's when I'll started to notice the tentacles starting to come out or whatever. And sometimes they'll stay short, and sometimes they're really long. It's really a trick to look at. And
What
like
if
I
it's
say,
just some form of reproduction too that we don't understand how it happens?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, it's a trip, especially when you're looking at it. And like when you're looking at it, the first thing that most people are gonna think is a balloon, you know. And so as soon as they see that, then there goes their attention. And so that's why I think maybe a lot of these people aren't spotting or
A form
having
of
sightings.
camouflage or cloaking in its own right, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, one of the guys at the meetings, he showed me a bunch of different pictures that he had gotten, and yeah, he was just saying like, what was it? It was like the best, and it was something typical that we've heard too. But yeah, like basically you know how they say the best way to hide something is to put it in
Plain sight, hide in plain
face. Yeah,
sight.
you know, yeah. So it's kind of like that whole deal, and so yeah, it makes you wonder: are they observing? Are they taking data? Are they, you know, what are they doing exactly?
So
Who
did
knows?
you watch that documentary about the balloon cult?
No, balloon cult. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I sent it to you. I told you about it when we first started contacting each other again.
Okay.
After summer, and this guy did a documentary doing the same thing we're doing, or you're doing in particular. But then he did a documentary. He says, you know, a lot of these things look like balloons, and a lot of times it actually is a balloon. It's just like something brings a balloon. You know, he'll be in this state of mind. He's power of intent. He's a positive thing, and then he'll go out in his backyard and front yard, start filming this stuff, right? And the odds of that happening, I mean, sure, there's probably thousands of blues in the atmosphere right now, but I mean billions, you know what I mean? Come on. So so he talks about this and how he helped them, how he manifests them, but then he brings the fact that like something else is like they brought little balloons. They literally brought literally he'll be watching, he'll be waiting there, and all of a sudden a balloon shows up.
Yeah. No, well, I've had that happen several times here, and I haven't shared them yet, just because I was like, well, these are balloons. People don't want to look at balloons, but I've been talking about putting a little collage together of just the balloons, what I believe are real balloons, and some of them have showed up pretty close, but in the balloons, I would imagine, I mean, because it's near downtown LA, and actually the area that we're in, there's a lot of cemeteries. So I wanted to bring that up, because that came up to mind when we were talking about the geographical area of where I'm at. But and then there's also a couple other things that I had been keeping in mind is like Interstate 5 cuts through here. And I'm just thinking, what else is in this area that could be attracting? And I mean, you got the coast on one side and mountains on the other. I mean, there's several things I think that
Well,
that
see,
could be
you
a
need to
term.
watch that documentary because they do people that talk about how literally all of a sudden balloons show up from all directions. And
Oh
I'm telling
wow,
there's like one woman she filmed dozens of them, and
that's a
they all
trip.
weren't all going to one, like, where the wind was blowing into a specific direction. They're showing up all over the place
Hmm.
at once, as if
Wow.
something is paying attention to what she's thinking
Yeah.
about, what she's
Yeah.
saying, and they said, "Well, we'll do the next best thing. We'll bring you
Well,
a balloon. We'll bring
well,
you a
could
balloon,
that?
or another form of a decoy, or some kind of way to confuse the message, confuse
Yeah.
people so they never can come to the truth about anything, or
Yeah.
agree on it. They can't collectively agree on anything.
Yeah, and then that also makes me question the power of manifestation. Maybe she really is manifesting what it is that, you know, those balloons. Maybe she's or whoever's doing it, is really aligned with what they're doing, and having these balloons show up as a manifestation. I
Yeah.
question that.
I mean, the more you do this stuff, the more questions you have. It's
Oh
not.
yeah.
It's a different form of quote unquote scientific endeavor because, and maybe the purest form of it, and that is searching this stuff out. It starts out of learning stories and then scary stories, and then you start doing your field research, and then you start studying. You start putting the pieces together, and you it's not necessarily that people dislike you, although I seem to have that tendency, but to draw that to me. But what happens is that you become more focused on the truth, and the rest of the people, because they're not there with you yet, they either become instead of attracted to you and the truth, they'll be distracted and they'll be repelled. And not because you want it to happen that way, just because it is. And you'll find different groups of people then, right? You'll find people that come closer to truth. And it sounds to me like, and tell me if I'm wrong, that as you're journeying, you're seeing the cross and the blending, and how obviously this is an important aspect of your research. It's not just to see a Sasquatch or see footprints or signs of Sasquatch or tree structures. There's more going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Then brings up the question, and this is how it works, folks, and I know it makes people upset, but what actually makes those tree structures? Because I don't know anybody's ever seen a Sasquatch make.
Yep.
Yeah, I found things that look like Sasquatch around them, but I also found other things that don't look like Sasquatch that are around it. So, you know what I mean? And then I've seen a couple of images that I swear to God look like trees straightened out, flying horizontally in the air, going somewhere. Oh, with also something that kind of looks like a Sasquatch hanging off a tree, orchestrating it.
Oh man, yeah, no,
and you've talked this way, people think you're absolutely nuts, and you have to make a decision. Do you follow the truth, knowing full well that people aren't going to understand you?
Yeah, no, you go for it. I'd go for it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's if in order to be popular, you have to be aligned to yourself and to others. In order to have that, what kind of popularity is that? I mean, that's not the kind of family I want. Is that a family you want? I mean, it's a group of people I want to hang out with. So, hey, are you willing to hang out there with us until like around 11?
Actually, I got a meeting to go to in like, let's see here, at maybe about 5 minutes or so, bro.
How long is that meeting going to be?
It's gonna be till about 10:30, and then I'd be free. But we could do this also whenever, Brian, any other night. I just want to at least get you a good hour in today, and then
well, I was hoping
continue.
if there's anybody in here and we'd be able to come, that we could leave it open for questions and bring them in and join the party. I take like so when you go to do your meeting, I'll take a 10-minute break, play a couple of videos and music. I'll play some music.
You can do whatever you want, but yeah. So after the
And then-
meeting, it would be like another. I wouldn't be home till about 11, and then I'm open after. I'm all day.
Oh, okay. I see. Where we go. So it won't work. Okay. So,
Yeah, but I mean, it's up to you. We can make it happen after that. But no, yeah, the meeting is going to be a couple hours, I think, and
well, maybe we'll definitely have to do it again real soon. So.
yeah, whenever, because I
I
don't
mean,
think.
did you have fun with this conversation? Did you feel like
Dude, I think we're getting started. We're scratching some of the surfaces here.
there's so much to this, and the thing is,
And-
how many times you got to keep on telling about the same old story and the base level information? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we
well,
need
and then
Us researchers need to start working together and talking to each other. And I think this is, although it's not going to be like a popular video, part of it because of me,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
part of it also
I
is
don't care.
because
I'm just about kicking the ball back and forth here, getting the getting this thing going, this dialogue, because yeah, it's important. It's happening now. It's fresh. We have receipts for it. Yeah, dude, why not? And I've invited people. I mean, there's been a few people I've been invited to a couple different shows here and there, which I appreciate. But sometimes those shows are just a straight up an hour or maybe a little bit longer. But I just feel, yeah, once again, it's not long enough to get things going. And like right now, I don't have any notes. We're just freestyling. I think we're just freestyling off the top of the head, which is good.
yeah. I mean,
But then there's
I
always
think we
stuff.
cover some important ground. Actually, is what we did.
Yeah, but there's some things that I wanted to touch on and dive
Absolutely.
in deeper into those particular topics, and a lot of just the way that I think, I don't know, it's just things slip my mind, they come back later. It's like, darn, we should have talked about that and that, but but yeah, no, I'll definitely take notes from this conversation here and see what else we could talk about on the next one.
Well, we got tons of stuff. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, and you just, dude, you serve up those questions, and I'll bat them away. Yeah, man, this was good. And like I said, I just we gotta figure out something as far as like the timing. Like I said, I'm at the job here. It works out perfect because bro is here, but sometimes he isn't, which I could still I could still jump on the show. But if a customer comes in, then I'll have
So
to
what's
pause.
best time for you during a normal day?
I would say for us, since you like to go the marathon, I would go at night. After I'm done at work here, which is usually about 8 p.m. West Coast.
It's about midnight my time.
Sure, yeah, we could. I stay up. I'm an owl, and yeah, we could have at it then. But
Sure.
no, I'm just glad that I was able to come through for you, man, because you did reach out to me, and I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Well,
or
you're the
anything
one
like
dude
that,
I wanted
man.
to talk to because I'm watching you film this stuff in the sky, and I'm like, do people understand how important this stuff is? I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they don't, but if they did, especially if you're say you're into the cryptid or the paranormal or all these different branches of the paranormal and this anomalous world, anomalous research, Fortean research, is that this is all connected. We start realizing, and if you only focus on one area, you're never ever going to even understand that area at all.
I mean, even ties in because I'm all into a recent topic of the old world, Tartaria.
Big time! And my God, it's the frickin' and it's Star Force. Some young guys, probably about your age or maybe younger, discovered that there's actually through Google Earth, what is this satellite imagery maps? They discovered there's actually a wall that's 3 or 4 times longer than the wall of China running from Ukraine all the way to Siberia.
Whoa, that is crazy.
The number of megalithic structures that people found just in the past couple of years, I think it thanks to that the scamdemic thing that they try to pull on us the past 3 years, gave people a lot of time, young people, and they spent a lot of time researching because they had nothing else better to do, and they're coming back with some stuff that's like, whoa, it's making everything that it means. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Jacques Vallée, revealed the the crash of 1945, a month after the nuclear bomb explosion had happened, because it's about the same time period when he ended up revealing it. Or maybe it was revealed to him. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah,
You know,
could be.
I
Could
think
be
he's
that.
probably a good cookie that just doesn't.
And
You know,
earlier, earlier I said yeah to what you said. You said, do people realize how important it is? I said yeah. You're like no, but I said yeah to the question you were asking. I'm like yeah, no, they don't. Some folks don't. But yeah, man. Yeah, and another thing is also what we could do, or I'd like to do, is like what you did is how you presented the video there. We could go through some of our videos and you know analyze them and
yeah, I actually had more of yours ready to go and analyze it as well.
yeah, so we could do that. And
So
then there's
I actually have basically the last 4 ones you filmed, except
okay,
that one compilation when I had to chop that one up and
yeah.
take off the audio because
Oh, okay.
it's just because it's,
Yeah, well,
it's
that track
too
was
too
fine for 6
much.
minutes.
I couldn't download it onto StreamYard,
Oh, all right.
so I had to take off a lot of stuff and put it in a lower magnified.
Yeah, and any of those, like pretty much any of those videos. I mean, if we're gonna do that, we could always, I could always send you like the non-YouTube version, so we could really like take a look if that helps. And then I could also go pick my favorites or anything that I feel like should be looked at.
So
We could do
I
that
also
as
like,
well.
you bet, man. Anything, I'll do anything with you, man. That's just because it's about the research. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And we're on the same wavelength, and so although we all have our different personalities, come from different backgrounds, but it seems like we're on the same focus and the same.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I actually like that, because yeah, people would. I don't know. I would imagine most people wouldn't imagine me into this type of stuff, or I don't know. I'm just projecting here, but yeah, no, the different
You
types.
can't judge a book by its cover. That's what it comes down to. And here's the other thing: is you friends that you're sky watching with and that you're filming with, I would love to talk to them as well. And especially once you brought up some names, that one guy, if you can remember, just send a link of his channel so I can check them out. And I'll look up it says Shelly's UFOs.
Shelly's UFOs, yeah.
I think I know about her already, but I'll just make sure.
It's very possible, and yeah, there's several other people that are in the scene that might be interested in talking and stuff like that. And I like to share their stuff too, to just to send traffic their way, people their way, check their stuff out, and because they got a lot of similar but yet some different things too. So it's really nice to see them sharing their work. And
hopefully you guys are able to have this kind of conversation in those groups. You know what I mean? People are willing to bounce off ideas, and I know people get pretty dogmatic with their how they see things. I've done it myself, and you have to kind of learn and grow from it and let go of being so dogmatic about this stuff and throw up your hands and say, it's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah, no. They're pretty. Everyone's been pretty open, and although people have their like you say, their beliefs and their style of doing things and this and that, and that's what I like about being pretty much on my own, is that I could do things my way, and
it's the only way.
Yeah,
it's the only way. I think that they even pay attention to it, and if they see that you're one of those followers instead of leader, I think that they recognize that, and they don't reward people who are fearful and followers. Does that make sense? I don't mean that in any way. I just think they're like, well, we got other secrets to share with you. And if you don't, and you're believing these people that don't know what they're talking about, we'll just step back and wait for you to grow up some more, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's you never know. you
never know. So, all right, bro, I'm gonna play some music here. Maybe say a few other things. It's just gonna be me banging on the guitar. I recorded it half an hour before the show. I just
Right on.
Made some, just jammed on it so you guys could listen to that. I'm learning how to play the guitar, so I'm starting to get to that point where
Cool, man.
it's acoustic, but I'm learning how to jam on the guitar. So I started it this summer, man.
Good for you, man. I love music. I play the turntables.
Nice.
Yeah, but I know I can play very little bit of. My grandfather was a musician, percussionist, so he taught me a little bit how to, play the drums a little bit, and my brother as well. So my brother could play a little, but we're not, no masters of that. But on the turntables, I could turn out a party for you, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool,
So
man.
yeah, dude, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Have a blessed night, and we'll be in
Maybe
contact,
it's
and
a
we'll
great
keep
blessing,
this
man.
going, man. We'll keep this going, and I think it's a good thing. I felt very comfortable once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think last time it was like a free for all. The guys are here, which is great. I love that too, and hopefully we could do that soon here too, man. Get some of the guys on again, and
It's important that we share our understanding and what we're really experiencing instead of
for sure.
worrying about what other people think or whether they. It's not about agreeing, because at this point it's so forward and it's such, like I said, everyone's experience is so much different. There's so many twists and turns that it is absurd and crazy a story may be. There's a high probability that it actually is true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And what do you do about that? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. I think just about everything and anything's going on that you could actually think of in your mind. It's probably happening somewhere. So yeah, no, it's a wild place, and yeah, definitely stay safe out there. It's wild times, but
shoot,
don't forget to have fun.
Absolutely, bro. We'll talk to you soon,
man.
man.
Have a good night.
All right, bro. Talk to you later. I'm gonna play some music here and take a break. All right. There you go. For those who will hear this in the future, that was Brown Dwarf. Check them out on YouTube and on TikTok. And where else you might be able to find him. Good guy. I like him. They got some good stuff to share, and it's important stuff in my book. So that was just me banging on the guitar.